Hello everyone, you join me in the dark. I've just finished my pack-up tea, which for those of you that aren't from Yorkshire means that I've just finished my evening meal that I prepared earlier in the car. Whilst the rest of my family are tucked up neatly in a warm theatre somewhere, I've come out to a dark lay-by on the edge of an even darker wood to head out with my camera to take some woodland photographs after dark. You might think I'm an absolute madman, but hopefully once you've seen the results, you might even think I'm onto something. So let's get togged up, by which I mean let's get dressed for the conditions, and head out to see what we can find. I'm going to have to apologise to anybody of a nervous disposition, but I'm going to have to light myself somehow so you can actually see me as I go about making these photographs in the dark. Now, I've walked along a dark track for what seems like ages, and there were stars out above me a moment ago, but actually it's now absolutely pouring it down with rain, so I'm not holding out much hope for any astrophotography. But that doesn't matter, I'm still going to go in search of some interesting woodland nighttime compositions. So, I've started off by setting my camera up on the tripod, which is an absolute must for nighttime photography because we're going to be dealing with some quite long exposures this evening, and I'm pointing it into pretty much complete darkness. With the naked eye, I can just make out a pinprick of light in the distance from a faraway house, and I can just make out a little bit of light coming through the silhouettes of the trees, but we're pretty much in the same boat as each other, as we can't really see anything. So I'm going to start off by training our eyes on the camera and having a look at some of the settings that I've preset to make things a little bit easier. I've started off by setting manual focus. After dark, our autofocus simply won't work because there's no contrast points for it to focus onto. So manually focusing to infinity is the best way forward. So I've done that. I've also set a 3-second timer delay, so when I touch the shutter button, then it's not going to create any unintentional camera movement. If you've got a remote shutter release, then you can use that as well. I've also set my ISO to 10,000. Now, you might think that, blimey, that's high. And yes, it is, but there's method in my madness, because in a moment I'm going to fire off a test shot at a higher ISO so I can not expose for too long and just gauge my composition, because obviously I don't really know what I'm photographing. I've also set my white balance to daylight, which again may sound absolutely stupid given that there's no daylight here at all whatsoever. But what that has the effect of doing is it just balances out some of the ambient orange light from any street lights or house lights that might be around, and just makes the photograph look a little bit more balanced in the colour section. Now, obviously you can change that in post-production afterwards, but I like to set off on a good foot by setting what I can do in camera first of all. So, in order to fire off this test shot, I've set my shutter speed to 30 seconds and my aperture to f2.8, which is the widest this lens will go. So what I'm aiming to do here is to just gauge my composition in the shortest amount of time as possible. So I'm trying to get as much light into the camera over the shortest period as I can do. So let's give that a go and see what materialises. I have to admit, I really quite like that shot. There's enough light coming from the sky to make it look like there's actually something there, but yet it still looks like nighttime. It still looks like it's a dark photograph. There's lots of mood and atmosphere coming from the shadow areas of the trees. The one thing that I might try is just moving the camera around to the right ever so slightly, because most of the light is coming from that top right hand corner, which is slightly off balancing the composition. But I think we're on to something here, so I'll rearrange the camera, fire off another test shot, and if I like it, then I'll do a longer exposure by reducing the ISO and getting rid of some of that annoying noise. I must admit I've fired off about 5 or 6 test shots, just moving the camera one way and then the other. And I think I've come up with a composition now that I'm really quite pleased with. So just to set this in stone as a proper exposure, I'm going to lower the ISO, which is going to mean exposing it for longer. I'm also going to narrow the aperture down as well, so I haven't got quite a shallow depth of field. So I'm going to have to expose it for quite a bit longer. There are apps that you can get that can tell you exactly what exposure you should be getting, but to be honest, I just love the atmosphere of this wood and trying out different things and experimenting. So that's what I'm going to do, and hopefully in a moment you'll see the finished article. Well, what's probably been a few seconds for you has been 8 minutes for me. I've just fired off an 8-minute exposure at 1600 ISO and f5.6, and it's still looking pretty dark actually. That just goes to show how pitch black it is out in these woods tonight. But I've got an exposure that I'm quite pleased with now, and a composition that I'm quite chuffed with as well. So I'm going to run with that because my hands are getting absolutely freezing cold. I did actually get another shot where, believe it or not, a team of cyclists with lights blaring came up the footpath behind me and shone their lights through the trees, and it made quite an interesting effect on the trees around me. So I'll show you that photograph as well whilst I'm at it. Just a little bonus tip for you. It's also useful when you're taking nighttime photographs to check your histogram after you've taken your pictures. This is the graph that shows you a tonal map of the picture, just to make sure that it isn't too far deep into the shadows onto the left-hand side. Because if it is, then your photograph still might come out quite dark when you get it on the computer. Camera screens tend to have quite a high brightness and can lie with long exposures. So checking the histogram just gives you peace of mind that you've got the exposure right. But let's face it, on a night like tonight, it's pretty difficult to overexpose anything. So there you have it, a foray, albeit brief, into the magical world of nighttime woodland photography. I know you're probably thinking I'm an absolute madman because I've turned down a trip to the theatre in favour of going out into a cold, dark wood. But for me, this has been theatre. The wonderful theatre of nature under a guise that many people are never privy to. I suppose venturing out on my own like I have done tonight might scare people and give people the heebie-jeebies if you were to do it yourself. And I certainly wouldn't recommend doing it if you live in a country where there's bears or wolves. But here in Yorkshire, where our greatest threat is probably a rogue squirrel, I think sometimes we have to just venture outside our comfort zone a little bit and be a bit experimental with our photography. I think that we can sometimes put so much emphasis on the final product, that finished photograph. But for me, photography is not just about that. It's about the process of actually going out with the camera and experiencing what I'm photographing. That mindful moment that I had as I was taking that 8-minute exposure, just immersing myself in the ambience of the wood, experiencing the sounds and the smells, was not scary, it was actually quite magical. So why not give it a go? You only live once, as they say. And let's face it, if you're venturing out into a cold, dark wood, you might not live very much longer. But let's look on the bright side. At least you'll have some amazing photographs for people to remember you by. If you want a more in-depth, step-by-step guide of setting your camera up for a night shoot, then watch this video next. And if you've enjoyed this one, give it a like and make sure that you subscribe to the channel for more. I'll see you in the next video. I'm heading home now to warm up. Bye for now.